Dear past me, welcome to my dorm room! I am officially 1 month into college, and so this will be my first video coming from my dorm room. It's kind of a weird setup at the moment. My camera is literally just on like my little, I don't even know what to call it, like this box that I found in my closet because I don't have my tripod yet. But so just bear with me and appreciate the fact that I am like taking the initiative and being a college kid and doing things on my own and discovering that I could stack my camera on a box. Okay, that's not impressive at all, but just bear with me. I'm pretty proud that I like made this work, and I'm so excited to be coming back here and making another video. I missed it so much. I missed you past me, and I'm going to definitely be making a lot more videos, especially now that I'm in college and can start kind of sharing that perspective, and now that I can also be looking back on high school, which is really cool. So today I thought I would just start out with, since I've been here for 1 month now, just the top 10 things that I learned in my first month, because there were just so many random little things that I never really thought about before I came here, but then noticed were very necessary to know, and so there wasn't really enough on really these individual topics to make full videos on, so I thought I'd just give them each a little moment in the spotlight. So here we go. Alright, so starting off our countdown with number 10 would be to try new foods. Personally, I am just a very picky eater. I was back home, and now that I'm here, I'm trying to just like start to try new things, experiment, just basically kind of come out of my comfort zone when it comes to food. And so what I try to do is once a day with one of my meals, I just put a little something that I've never had before on my plate, and then I fill the rest of it with things that I'm familiar with. And that way it kind of makes it easier for me to try something, because if I don't like it, then alright, well, I can still have a full meal because I have everything else on the plate that I do like. But then I just put a little something extra, and then if I like it, I can either go back and get more, or I know for next time. And I've actually surprised myself with a few things, so it's definitely working out. And of course, I'm not so happy when it doesn't work out, but I think overall it is just important to start to really diversify yourself when you come to college, and so I've been trying new foods. Rolling on into number 9 would be to set a laundry day. The first few weeks I was kind of just doing laundry whenever, and I would either like do it when I only had like half a basket, and then like a week and a half would go by and I would have like overflowing amount where I'd have to use 2 washers and do like 2 full loads. And that's just bad. Like in the first situation, I was like wasting detergent and just the time it takes to go through the laundry, because it's a 45 minutes to do the washing machine and then an hour and a half to do the dryer. So to be like wasting those trips and also like the detergent, I mean, college is expensive enough. You don't need to be buying all that extra stuff. And now for number 8, talk to at least 1 new person every single day. There are so many opportunities to do this, especially if you go to a large school. There are 20,000 people on this campus, so it's really not that hard to find 1 person to talk to. And tip number 7 would be to make sure to go and meet all of your professors in the first 3 weeks. And they usually say like first week or 2, but personally I just didn't find that as effective, because I feel like everyone rushes up to the front of the room right at the end of class and like shakes their hand. They're not gonna remember you. That's like a nice icebreaker, I guess, but I just don't think that's a very good way to really make that deep connection. So what I would recommend doing is waiting until you have a little bit of material going. So like the end of that 2nd week and then that 3rd week, I just think is like the perfect time, because then you usually will maybe have a quiz coming up, or at least you'll be enough into the material to kind of understand where the class is going, and that way when you go and talk to the professor, not only can you get to know them like on a personal level, but you can also maybe discuss the class material and prove that you've been paying attention and really just make that connection. So I would recommend kind of waiting till that 2nd and 3rd week, but definitely go and make that connection, because that way if you have any problems in the future, they'll be more likely to help you out because they can put a face to your name. And now, number 6, I feel like when I was in high school, I thought this was like totally obvious and would not need to be stated, but go to class. In college, it's so easy to just like not go to class, because to be honest, in a 300-person lecture hall, they're not going to notice or really care that you're not there. it's like scheduled in study time that you're supposed to go to anyway. So for me, I barely even study for some of the classes that I go to because we'll have a quiz at the end of the week on something that we had to read a whole chapter for, do homework on, and then you heard about it in lecture. So it is so helpful to go to class, and that way, especially if it's a little bit of a smaller class, your professor will look around and see you there. So just making that, again, face-to-name connection is so, so important. So please, if you want to be successful, especially at the beginning, go to class. And going along with that point, number 5 is be 10 minutes early to class, because there's nothing beneficial to running in like 5 minutes late, trying to find a seat, and then you kind of already missed like the introduction of the lecture. Everyone's staring at you first of all, which is super awkward when you're like running in late. The professor's gonna glare at you and you're distracting people. So just if you kind of give yourself that rule of thumb of being 10 minutes early, that's kind of what I go off of. And so I think that 10-minute time frame is just a really good thing to aim for, and it'll really give you the most out of the class. Now that I'm kind of on this theme of class, dress nicely for class. Yes, it can be super hard at 8 a.m. to get in like a nice dress or something like that, but you don't even have to go that far. Honestly, just jeans and a t-shirt versus sweatpants can make so much of a difference. And I mean, I've even seen some guys in full suits for classes, and I don't know that I could personally get that dressed up, but like, all the power to you, because you take them seriously, because they look like they're ready to go. And so definitely just like take those few extra minutes. Honestly, getting up 15 minutes earlier is not going to really make a difference in your sleep, but it'll make all the difference in your day, because when you get up and you're like dressed and you're ready to take on the day, it makes things a million times easier. And like I said, you look good. So definitely just take those few extra minutes and dress nicely for class. Alright, moving away from that idea with number 3 would be to set some rules with your roommate. Being an only child, I've never actually had to live with someone. I've never really had someone in my space, or really the idea of like sharing a room has just never been something that I've had to deal with. And so on the first week, me and my roommate sat down and we just talked about, first of all, some of the expectations we had, and we kind of divided up some of the responsibilities. We talked about having guests sleep over, just things like that that could all kind of come up, and we just really opened the line of communication and just said that if there's ever an issue that either of us have, let's just have a nice talk about it. We don't need to kind of like be mad in silence or feel weird about like bringing up some like more, I guess you could say, like uncomfortable living situations. Let's just be open and honest and talk about things, and it's just made life so much easier. And on to number 2 would be to get out of your room, to study, to do homework, to do any of that sort of thing. It's definitely okay if you're studying up late at night, or if it's in between classes, that's totally fine, but don't just stay in your room all the time to study. There's the library, there's the lounges, there's just being outside. There are just so many places that you can just get away and also meet people. I feel like if I were to stay in my room all the time and be studying here all the time, there are so many people that I'm very close with now that I would have never met, especially the people in my building, because it's really hard to really meet, especially when the floors here are like guys, girls, guys. Everyone kind of just seems to stick to their floor, and it's really hard to kind of meet the other people that live around you. But then I started going to the lounge and kind of just like doing more casual homework down there, or just even just like playing on my computer, like sitting on the couch or something, and then people walk by and they just strike up conversations, or they come in and ask you a question about their homework, and you get to know people super easily while you're literally getting the exact same thing done. And finally, last but certainly not least, it's actually the absolute most important, which is why I saved it for number 1, would be to be yourself. And I heard that like so many times growing up, and I never really knew what it meant, because there are so many different sides to your personality that I never really understood what me I was supposed to be, and how do you still find people that you like hanging out with if you're always yourself versus trying to fit in with other people. Like, where do you draw that line? And I feel like college made it really easy for me to finally like define that line, and that really was very clear to me when I started signing up to join clubs and activities. As much in high school as I would love to have said that I was always myself and expressed myself and who I was and stayed true to what I wanted to do all the time, I definitely didn't, because I really wanted to fit in. And so when I came to see that there was all these clubs and things that really interested me that none of the people that I met here were interested in, I was like, all right, I'm gonna sign up anyway. I met people that had this same interest in me that were really cool people. And I feel like college really erases the lines of like popularity and being cool, because everyone really just does their own thing, and everyone's just happy because they're doing what they want to do and not what people may expect them to do. As soon as you can finally take that deep breath and realize I am who I am and I love what I love, I have this passion that I want to follow, and once you just go and start following it and stop caring what everyone else thinks, you will be unbelievably, indescribably happy. So honestly, just be yourself. Be whoever you want to be, and just go for it. So past me, that's it for this video, but I really hope you just kind of were able to take away some of the experiences that I had in my first month. I definitely want to start doing some more vlogs on my Keek. I'm going to be going on Twitter a lot more, all of that, and just really letting you in on my college experience. So I will see you in my next video. Sincerely, your future self.